For more on all of this, I'm joined now by Jesse Weber, NewsNation legal contributor and Law and Crime Network host. I'm also joined by trial attorney Mercedes Colwin. And for the political aspect of all this, because there is a lot of political aspects in this, is a national political reporter for The Hill, Julia Manchester. Let's start with the legal parts of this. Jesse, how often do prosecutors file charges like this?
Not often, because usually these charges are not brought as standalone charges. They're usually part of a bigger case. So if somebody had used a weapon to commit a crime, or even if they were arrested for multiple weapons in their possession, that's when you would see this. That's why people look at this and say, is it political? Are you only bringing these specific standalone firearms charges against Hunter Biden because there was pressure on David Weiss to bring something? Now, I just have to say, this doesn't stop him from bringing charges that are totally unrelated, like money laundering, FARA violations. That's still being investigated. So you see people on the right who are saying this is not enough, but it is significant, to say the least.
To defend the prosecutors, and I think, Jesse, you're exactly right on so many points, really the prosecutors try to do a plea deal. And what prosecutors do universally is if those plea deals go away for whatever reason, they get even more aggressive. So that's really in their playbook, not something so surprising here.
But is Jesse right that, I mean, are there any other cases where somebody, I mean, he had this gun for 8 days.
Sure.
Are there any other times when somebody's been charged with lying on this form to buy a gun about their own drug addiction?
Anecdotally, I don't know of any, but I would bet my life that there has to be some prosecution out there in the country that has that, because it is a very easily triggered law.
Right.
If you lie on that form and you then have possession of a gun, well, that's per se illegal.
It says right there, it's a felony.
Exactly.
It also seems to be an open and shut case. Yes. He said on the form, I'm not doing drugs. He wrote in his own book, I was doing drugs.
So it's simple to prosecute, except I will tell you there's a little caveat, the possession charge. You're hearing his lawyer coming forward now and saying there is a federal case that just came down that said, well, is it unconstitutional to say that people who have substance abuse problems, they should automatically not have a right to bear arms? That's an interesting constitutional argument. It doesn't take away the fact if you lied on a form or you lied to a dealer. That's a pretty open and shut case.
So if he is convicted on these charges, what kind of jail time might he face? And do you think he would?
Significant. I mean, it's up to 25 years in some cases. It depends on what statute they're going to go
Just
after.
for lying on this form?
You think that much, Mercedes? Because he has no criminal record.
Right.
I don't imagine. Yeah. I mean, there's a possibility there could be no prison time.
Right.
I don't think so.
I don't think in this case in particular, given the history that Hunter Biden has, that he will face very significant jail time. But jail time is probably going to come down the pike. I know there's been threats that it may be decades. I doubt very much. I think Jesse and I are in agreement on that.
All right. I want to turn now to the political component of this, because it is very political. We could just see that on Capitol Hill. Julia, we're already hearing from members of the far-right Republicans that today's charges are not enough. We heard the remarks from Kelly Meyer a moment ago from Vivek Ramaswamy. Matt Gaetz, a congressman in the MAGA caucus, likened the charges that Hunter was facing today as Jeffrey Dahmer being charged with littering. For those who don't know, Jeffrey Dahmer was a serial killer. I expect we're hearing a lot of Republicans today saying, this is nothing, keep going.
Absolutely. This is the Republicans essentially trying to paint the Department of Justice under the Biden administration as sort of corrupt and weak when it comes to issues on Hunter Biden. Now, of course, this comes only days after Speaker Kevin McCarthy opened that impeachment inquiry into President Biden and whether he had a hand or any influence on Hunter Biden's business dealings when he was vice president. There's really no link that we can see, that we have evidence of, at least publicly now, that shows a link between President Biden and Hunter Biden, and these gun charges are unrelated to that. So this is very much Republicans trying to paint this picture of the Department of Justice, the Biden administration, of being corrupt, for essentially having a two-tiered system of justice for someone like Hunter Biden versus former President Trump, who's facing a host of his own legal issues.
President Biden, Julia, has long said that he loves his son, that he supports his son. But some Democrats are now saying that Hunter Biden has become a political albatross. You have these indictments today. You have his efforts that have been well documented to cash in on his family name. Now this impeachment inquiry, and it's resonating. Half of all Americans, you know, depending on how you ask the question, think that President Biden did something wrong with his son's business dealings.
Yeah, look, when we talk about the political element of this, we can't leave out the human element of this, which is that at the end of the day, This is a father and a son, except that the father is running for re-election for president of the United States, and the son is charged with a number of, serious crimes, and there are investigations into his son's business dealings. It's very hard right now, I think, for President Biden, or I would imagine it's hard for him to distance himself from his son because, he's a father. And I think we've seen him very much send a signal publicly this year alone that he wants to stand by him. However, that might change as the election approaches.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.